I love how instead of immediately jumping into a recap, we're able to see Luz do something new for a change.
Now eat this, sucker!
And I love the evolution of the joke from the pilot compared to now. It's very clever writing and a great way to start the episode. Love the running gag of creatures looking nothing like their original posters or pictures.
Small I may be, but you will soon know fear when I lay waste to all.
This whole opening is absolutely brilliant and a much needed tone refresher from the last episode. God, this new intro looks so cool. Not so subtle foreshadowing. I'm kidding, I love it, especially the way the character models are framed like Pokemon cards. They even accounted for Ida's eye. This level of detail comes only when Disney is trying their hardest, and it shows. The first season was about light, this season's about all kinds of magic, which sets the tone perfectly. Like, I've said this before, but it really is awesome. Her phone should be dead. I've said it before, but it still bothers me. It even has full battery, as if not being dead wasn't enough. It has power. I've commended the show's character animation for being so real and yet distinguishable from other cartoons, but we rarely get shots like these where Luz is the only one in frame.
And look! I have friends to help me.
I'm never letting you go! You're never returning to the human realm!
He doesn't mean that.
Yes, I do!
The sibling vibes are just so real. If the jug exploded, there should be glass, not just apple blood.
Ida was cursed by her own sister, Lilith, and she spent her entire life looking for a way to undo it.
The only part about this recap I don't like is Lilith. They gloss over her contribution to last season's conflict a little too quickly. This may be done intentionally to move the plot along because there are more important things, but still, a little more effort, please. That scream just kills me every time.
Without the portal, Ida has no human garbage to sell, so we've resorted to working odd jobs to keep food on the table.
Who would hire the most notorious criminal in the Boiling Isles without her magic?
Hey, King, did you know that apple is a hat? Really?
Just gonna waste food like that? Seriously, this doesn't make sense considering what Ida says about Luz later.
Te quiero, mamá. Te lo prometo, regresaré a casa pronto.
If you're wondering what she said, she basically said, "I love you, Mom, I'll be home soon." For some reason, the messages only stop sending now, even though in previous episodes like the pilot, Luz didn't need a connection to send the messages. And no, it's not because the portal's gone. I addressed this in the last season, but here it plays a more crucial role, so it's more frustrating. At what point could they afford a wagon and the Boiling Isles equivalent of horses?
Ida, do you own anything that isn't covered in feathers? I had to deal with a curse for 30 years, so I think you can handle a few feathers.
Love that these two are talking instead of having a prolonged I won't forgive you arc. Ida says Lilith's intentions were good even if they hurt more than they helped. If this feels weird of me to say, it's because Ida herself has the best development in the show from a writer's standpoint, so I'm going to heap praise on it a lot.
I say it too, Luz, but I'm trying to stay civil.
Again, with or without magic, Ida is comedy gold.
A single snail? Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, I wasn't done yet.
Ida could just beat this guy up. Seriously, the guards don't care about her anymore.
You can't do this to me. Do you know who I am?
Yeah, you're Ida the Owl Lady. What are you gonna do? We all know you're powerless now.
It really hits different knowing that Ida isn't the most powerful anymore.
What the?
Love the detail of this guy recording Ida. Stuff like this makes the way word spreads around Bonesborough way more believable. The poster moving is understandable. These background characters, not so much. I've held off as long as I can without mentioning the visual symbolism between Ida and Lilith. In the previous season, you would often see her wear the blue dress, a sharp contrast to Ida's red. But here, she wears a shirt with a little red on it and no blue. Great way of showing how Lilith put the Empress coven behind her, that Ida is a part of her life, for the better. You don't need to get the reference for this to still be funny. The show always excels with background details, but this is one of the better ones, and a well-placed callback to Season 1.
No apple blood. I spent the money on griffin eggs for Luz. There's not a lot she can digest here, so I make sure to have her favorites around.
Great character moment to have Ida sacrificing for Luz. Also, it's nice to see the show hasn't forgotten about Luz and Ida's strange mother-daughter relationship. They just leave Luz and King behind.
That's rough, buddy.
That line is even better when you realize how much Dana loves The Last Airbender.
I'm gonna help Ida and prove that I'm more than just a burden.
If you paid attention, you'll notice Ida never said she was a burden. Great way to show Luz isn't handling being stuck all that well. Homesickness can do that. I like this high sales C section in the episode, but I have to point out there was no reason for King to come along until the Golden Guard catches him.
Lulu, you're trying to spy on your old buddies? I can help! We can find out their crushes! We can give them cute couple names!
Meta humor. Love it. Something to commend about this show is the use of human technology. And honestly, it doesn't interfere with the fantasy stuff at all. If anything, it adds to the personality and wonder that cartoons should be bringing on the regular, but just sadly aren't. So this is good. This High Seas montage music by Brad Breek is honestly brilliant. It's also just fun to watch.
Thanks, Salty. You make me feel like a real part of the crew.
Well, that's because you are.
Pirates didn't say "R." That's a myth. That is not how doors work.
Unfortunately, you won't have the chance.
The Golden Guard is my new favorite character from Season 2, and Zeno Robinson really nails his voice. Another thing Season 2 excels in is the lighting.
How can I get fire bee honey without ice magic, or porcupine quills without a sleeping spell? Who am I without magic?
I love how different Ida and Lilith are without magic. It really makes the contrast between them stand out more, when the curse could have easily been an excuse for Lilith to not have her own character development beyond feeling bad for cursing Ida. Brad's action music is on point. The show cheats with Luz's glyphs. They shouldn't be any more powerful than in the first season, and yet here they grow into all kinds of shapes and sizes. This would be more severe if Youngblood Old Souls didn't already do it. For some reason, even though Luz is still upside down, the camera flips up right side up.
Ida!
Hey!
Why are you running?
You could have gotten killed.
That can still be arranged.
What an awesome introduction.
Hello, criminals. What's about to happen should be relatively painless, if you just do what I say.
Everything you need to know about Hunter has been carefully planted in his appearances before he loses the mask. He clearly doesn't want to hurt them, he offers alternate solutions, but he still has a firm stance on what he needs. Basically, he's the villain this season needs desperately.
But I do know that you're standing on a plant that eats flesh.
I know for a fact that that plant was not in the overhead shot, and they have not moved a bit since. It's not uncommon for animation to get higher quality the more it goes on, but man, these wide and establishing shots are breathtaking.
What? Stick together? Because you stuck with me, you lost your magic. You almost got turned to stone, and now you can't even afford your apple blood because you're worried about what I need to eat.
Sarah Nicole Roblay's performance in this scene is perfect. The show has a really great cast of actors, but the way they convey so much emotion in such short periods of time speaks volumes of the show's quality.
Unfortunately for you, my life is pretty great because I'm friends with Luce the human.
The red lighting makes the scene more emotional, but again, Wendy Malick's line delivery here is top-notch. Stuff like this always makes me groan. You play emotions seriously and silly at the same time, it becomes a mixed bag. Here, it plays a role in Luz and Ida's character arc, but it still shouldn't be played for laughs like this.
I'm not commenting on that. Hootsifer.
Hootie has a much bigger presence and role than in the previous season, and applying it to Lilith is a great way to start.